The weather grew warmer and the days became longer at the base. John noticed everyone seemed more relaxed now. There were no more attacks, and people felt safe again. Myra woke early every day, helping in the kitchen or working with Lucas on repairs. She liked the feeling of being needed. People greeted her with smiles, and even the children from the village sometimes came to watch her work. One morning, while Mira was repairing a small generator, a messenger arrived from another human camp. He brought a message for Commander Evans. John and Myra were asked to join the meeting. The messenger explained that a powerful alien warlord had sent a message. The warlord wanted Mira returned to him. He claimed that she was given away as a reward by mistake and now must go back. The news shocked everyone at the base. John felt angry. Myra looked down, her hands shaking. She did not want to leave. The commander listened carefully, then asked Mira what she wanted. Myra stood up, trying to be brave. "I want to stay here," she said. "This is my home now." The commander nodded. "Then we will protect you, Myra." For the next few days, there was tension in the air. The soldiers took turns watching the camp gates. John helped make the defenses stronger. Myra did not hide. Instead, she helped everyone prepare, checking the electric fences and teaching the soldiers tricks she had learned on her planet. She wanted to show she was not afraid. One night, John and Mira sat together by the garden. "Do you trust us to keep you safe?" John asked. Mira nodded. "I do. I know you will try. But I am also ready to stand up for myself." John was proud of her courage. "You are not alone, Mira. We all care about you." The next morning, a group of aliens arrived at the edge of the camp. They were not there to attack, but they brought a message from the warlord. He demanded that Mira be handed over in 2 days. If the humans refused, there would be trouble. The message made everyone nervous. John called a meeting with all the soldiers and villagers. Myra stood by his side. He explained the warlord's demand, then asked everyone what they thought. Some soldiers were afraid, but most of them said Mira was one of them now, and they would not let anyone take her away. Mira felt touched by their support. Later that night, Mira sat quietly in her tent, thinking. She remembered her old home and her family. She missed them, but she knew she could never go back to being a prize for anyone. She was her own person now. The next day, John found Mira helping Claire with medical supplies. "Are you all right?" he asked softly. Mira smiled. Gently, "I am a little afraid, but I am not alone." "Thank you for standing with me," John nodded. "We will face this together." The time came for the warlord's reply. Everyone gathered at the main gate. The warlord arrived, surrounded by his guards. He was tall and wore heavy armor. His voice was loud. "I have come for what is mine," he said. Looking at Mira. John stepped forward. "Mira is not a thing. She is free to choose her own life." The warlord glared at him, then turned to Myra. "Do you want to stay with the humans, even if it means facing danger?" Myra looked at all her friends. She felt brave, standing tall. "I am not your prize. I belong with those who treat me with respect. I choose to stay." The warlord was surprised by her answer. He looked around and saw how the humans stood together, ready to defend their friend. After a long moment, the warlord spoke again. "Very well, I see she is strong. I will not fight today." The aliens left without a battle. Everyone cheered. Myra was hugged by her friends, and John smiled with relief. After the warlord left, life slowly returned to normal. Myra felt lighter, as if a heavy weight had left her heart. She was proud of herself for speaking up and proud of her friends. For supporting her. The soldiers and villagers decided to have a celebration. They decorated the garden with ribbons and flowers. There was music, food, and laughter. Mira danced with the children and played games she had learned from both humans and her own people. John watched her, feeling happy. He realized how much he cared for her, not just as a friend, but as someone very special in his life. As night fell, John and Mira sat by the fire. You were very brave today, John said quietly. Mira looked at him, her eyes shining in the firelight. I was only brave because I had good friends. You gave me courage. John shook his head. You had it inside you all along. They sat together, watching the stars. Myra thought of her family far away and hoped they were proud of her. She also felt thankful for her new family, the humans who had become her true friends. In the days that followed, Myra kept helping at the base. She repaired more machines, taught more children, and shared stories about her world. People listened and learned from her. John was always by her side, helping and protecting her. One day, the trader returned with news from Myra's old village. Her family had received her letter. They sent a reply, telling her they loved her and were proud of her bravery. Myra cried tears of happiness. She read the letter to John and her friends, feeling at peace. Life at the base became even more joyful. People worked together, laughed together, and cared for each other. Myra knew she would never again be just a prize or a stranger. She had found her place, and nothing could take that away from her. As the season changed, the garden grew even larger. Flowers from both Earth and Mira's planet bloomed side by side. It was a sign of friendship and hope for the future. John looked at Mira and said, I'm glad you're here, Mira. You make everything better. Myra smiled and replied, I am glad too. I would not want to be anywhere else. They sat together in the garden, surrounded by the people who loved them, knowing they could face whatever came next together. Let me know if you want the next part or need any changes. Days at the base slowly returned to normal. There were no more attacks, and the soldiers worked together to rebuild what had been damaged. Mira helped everywhere she could. People still came to her with broken tools, strange problems, or just to talk. She listened kindly and helped with a gentle touch. John felt proud every time he saw how much Myra had become part of their lives. One morning, John and Mira walked along the edge of the camp. The air was fresh, and birds sang in the trees. John carried a small bag, and Mira looked at the wildflowers growing nearby. She picked a few and handed one to John. He smiled and put it in his pocket, thanking her softly. As they walked, John asked, Do you ever wish you could go home, Mira? Myra thought for a moment. Sometimes, she said honestly. I miss my family and the forests on my planet. But I am happy here too. I have friends now. John nodded. You are brave. You taught us all something important. Later that day, the soldiers held a small gathering to honor Mira. Claire brought a cake she had baked, and Lucas played a song on his old guitar. Everyone laughed and shared memories of the battle. They told stories of how Mira saved the base, and many thanked her for her help. Since then, Mira was shy but grateful. She made a short speech, thanking everyone for their kindness. When I first came here, I was afraid, she said softly. But you all showed me respect. Now I feel like I belong. Thank you. Everyone clapped, and Mira blushed. John looked at her with pride, glad she felt at home. After the celebration, Mira sat with Claire near the fire. Do you think the enemy will come back? Myra asked quietly. Claire shook her head. Not now. They saw how strong we are when we work together. Myra felt safer hearing this. She watched the stars, thinking of her old home, but feeling comfort in her new one. Over the next days, John and Mira spent more time together. They worked side by side, fixing things and helping others. John shared stories about Earth, and Mira shared her memories of her planet. She taught John how to say a few words in her language, and he tried hard to remember each one. One evening, as the sun set, John and Mira sat near the edge of camp. Thank you for everything, John said. You make this place better. Myra smiled. We make it better together. They watched as fireflies danced in the dusk. Myra laughed softly, chasing the lights. John joined her, feeling young and happy. For a moment, all worries faded. Sometime later, a visitor arrived at the base. He was a trader who traveled between camps. He brought news and small gifts. The trader was surprised to see Mira and listened. to the stories about her. He offered to take a letter to Mira's family if she wished. Mira wrote a simple note in her language. She thanked her family for their love and told them she was safe and had friends now. She gave the letter to the trader with hope and a gentle smile. In the days that followed, Mira taught some children from a nearby village. She showed them how to fix small things and taught them simple words from her language. The children liked her gentle ways, and soon they were laughing and learning together. John watched them, feeling that Mira had brought more than just skills. She had brought joy to their lives. One afternoon, a small animal got stuck in the fence outside the camp. Mira ran to help. She carefully freed the animal, and it ran off into the trees. Lucas saw what she did and said, "You have a kind heart, Mira." Myra smiled and said, "I was taught to help those who need it." Soon after, some soldiers found a strange device in the forest. They brought it to John and Mira. Myra studied it, then told them it was safe. She showed them how to use it to help find clean water underground. Everyone cheered, grateful for the discovery. Life became peaceful. Myra was now trusted by all, and people asked for her advice. John often thought about how different things were from when she first arrived. She was no longer a prize or a stranger. She was a friend, a helper, and an important part of their family. At night, Myra sometimes sat with John, Claire, and Lucas. They talked about their dreams for the future. Myra said she wanted to build a garden at the base, planting flowers and food for everyone. John promised to help her, and the others joined in, excited for the project. As time passed, the garden grew. Everyone helped plant seeds and water the soil. Soon, bright flowers and green plants covered a small corner of the base. Myra was happy to see the garden grow, and everyone enjoyed its beauty. John looked at Mira, feeling grateful for her friendship. She had changed his life and the lives of everyone at the base. Now, with a peaceful heart, he looked forward to whatever the future would bring, knowing that as long as they stood together, they could face anything. The weather at the base changed suddenly. Strong winds blew through the camp, carrying dust and leaves. John woke early, feeling uneasy. Myra noticed his worry and stood by his side as he watched the sky. Soon, Lucas came running with news. Scouts saw movement outside the camp. It might be trouble. John called a meeting with the other soldiers. "Everyone, stay alert," he said. "Keep your eyes open. We must protect our base." Myra listened carefully. She knew danger was close. After breakfast, she checked the machines, making sure everything worked well. John and the others made plans for defense. They put guards at every entrance and checked their weapons. In the afternoon, strange noises came from the forest near the camp. The soldiers stood ready. Suddenly, energy blasts flew through the trees. The base was under attack by a rival alien group. Everyone jumped into action. John ran to help, his heart beating fast. Myra saw the soldiers running and wanted to help. As the battle started, Mira remembered what John taught her about being safe, but she also wanted to protect her friends. She grabbed her small toolkit and hurried to the power station. There, she saw a fire starting near the fuel tanks. If it spread, the whole base would be in danger. Mira ran forward, using her tools to break open a water line. Water sprayed onto the fire, and she used her jacket to smother the flames. Her hands shook, but she did not stop. When the fire was gone, she checked the power systems. She fixed a broken wire and made sure the light stayed on. Without her quick thinking, the base could have lost power during the fight. John noticed the power stayed on and realized Mira had saved him. "Mira is keeping us going," he shouted to the others. The soldiers fought bravely, but the attackers pushed closer. Near the main gate, Adam was trapped by falling debris. Myra saw him and rushed over. She called to 2 soldiers for help. Together they moved the heavy beams and freed Adam. He looked at Myra with surprise. "Thank you," he gasped, still in shock. "You saved me." More energy blasts shook the camp. Myra ran to the medical tent, where Claire worked to help the wounded. I need bandages and water, Claire said, her voice shaking. Myra found the supplies and helped Claire clean wounds. When the fighting grew louder, Myra blocked the entrance with heavy crates to protect everyone inside. Meanwhile, John led a group of soldiers to push back the attackers. The enemy was strong and fast, using advanced weapons. But John's team held their ground. Myra watched as the enemy tried to break through the main fence. She remembered a trick from her homeworld. She ran to the fence and used her tools to overload the security field. A bright flash stunned the attackers, forcing them back for a moment. Lucas ran to help Myra. "How did you do that?" he asked, amazed. "It's something my people do at home," Myra explained simply. The attackers began to retreat, but not before setting traps around the camp. John ordered everyone to search for anything dangerous. Myra led a small group of soldiers, showing them where to look for hidden devices. She found 3 traps before they could hurt anyone. Everyone thanked her for her sharp eyes and quick. As the battle ended, John called everyone together. "We could not have done this without Myra," he said. "She risked her life to help all of us." The soldiers cheered for Myra. She felt shy but happy. For the first time, she truly believed she belonged at the base. That night, as the camp calmed down, John sat with Myra by the fire. "You were very brave today," he said gently. Myra shook her head. "I just did what I could." John smiled. "That is what bravery is. Thank you, Myra." Lucas, Adam, Claire, and many others came to thank Myra. Each person told her how she helped. Some gave her small gifts of ribbon, a drawing, a sweet treat. Myra accepted them with gratitude, keeping them as reminders of her new family. As days passed, people repaired the damage. Myra worked hard to fix broken machines and helped the medics take care of the injured. She was busy from morning to night, but she never complained. Everyone noticed her hard work and admired her courage. One evening, the commander called Myra and John to his tent. "You have done well," the commander said, looking at both of them. "Myra, you are no longer a prize. You are a hero." Myra did not know what to say. John squeezed her hand gently, proud of his friend. The commander continued, "From now on, you are one of us. You have a place here for as long as you want." Tears filled Myra's eyes. She thanked the commander quietly, feeling more welcome than ever before. John led her outside, where the stars shone brightly. Myra looked up, thinking of her old home, but also the new home she had found here with John and the others. In the following days, the story of the attack and Myra's bravery spread. People from other camps came to thank her. She made new friends and learned even more about human life. John watched as Myra grew happier and stronger, proud to stand by her side. Life at the base changed after that day. People were kinder, more helpful to each other, and always listened when Myra had an idea. She was now seen as a true friend, not just by John, but by everyone. Myra knew that together, they could face any challenge that came their way. As days turned into weeks, Myra became even more a part of life at the base. She was always ready to help, and the soldiers got used to seeing her everywhere. She was not only helpful in the kitchen and with supplies, but also seemed to understand. Machines are the way nobody else did. One morning, John was trying to fix a broken radio. He pressed buttons and checked wires, but nothing worked. Myra watched him carefully. After a few minutes, she gently asked, "May I try?" John moved aside and let her sit by the radio. Myra studied the radio for a few moments, then used her small fingers to adjust some wires and pressed 2 buttons at the same time. Suddenly, the radio made a soft crackling sound, and then a clear voice came through. John was surprised and laughed. "How did you do that?" Myra smiled shyly. "My people use machines like this at home." Soon, everyone knew about Myra's skills. Claire asked her to help with medical tools. Adam, who had once doubted Myra, now watched her with respect. The soldiers who once stared at her now asked for her help. They learned that Myra was clever, patient, and always polite. One day, A small group of soldiers argued about how to fix the water pump. John tried, but it did not work. Myra listened quietly, then said, "May I see?" She looked at the pump, turned. A hidden lever, and soon water flowed freely. Everyone cheered, and Adam clapped her on the back. "Good job, Myra." Myra felt proud. She was finally starting to feel like she belonged. As her confidence grew, Myra began to teach the soldiers a few words in her own language. They practiced after dinner, laughing at how hard it was to make the sounds. John tried the hardest, and Myra giggled when he made a mistake. These moments made everyone feel closer, and Myra was at the center of it all. One evening, John noticed Myra looking at the stars. "What are you thinking about?" he asked gently. Myra looked sad for a moment. "I miss my family," she said quietly, "but I'm happy here too. You are all kind." John nodded. "I am glad you are here, Myra. You have helped us so much." Myra smiled. Feeling safe. The next morning, a soldier named Sam came running. "The communication tower is down." "We can't reach command." John rushed to the tower. Wires hung loose, and the screens were dark. Myra followed him. While the others tried to fix things, Myra crawled into a small space under the main controls. She worked quickly, her hands moving with skill. Soon the screens flashed, and a signal beeped. Everyone cheered again. She did it! Lucas shouted, "We can talk to command now." From that day, Myra was known as the base's fixer. People brought her all sorts of broken things, from lamps to computers. She fixed everything with care. In return, the soldiers started teaching Myra more about Earth and its people. She learned about different foods, music, and even games. One night, they played cards, and Myra learned quickly. Winning her first game and laughing with the others. As the days passed, Myra's talent shined. She helped design a better storage system, making work easier for everyone. She showed Claire how to make a simple medicine using herbs from her homeworld, which helped a sick soldier feel better. Every day, Myra gave something back to the people who welcomed her. John and Myra became good friends. They shared stories every night. John told her about his dreams and worries, and Myra shared secrets of her world. John listened closely, always. Amazed by her wisdom. One afternoon, John asked, "Do you miss your home?" Myra thought for a while, then nodded. "Sometimes. But I am grateful for this new family." John felt a gentle warmth in his heart. He knew Myra had changed his life too. One evening, a group of visitors from another base arrived. They were curious about the stories they had heard. A small alien woman who could fix anything. The leader, Captain Laura, asked to see Myra. John introduced him, and Myra greeted Laura with a polite bow. Laura smiled. "I have never seen someone so small do so much." "Thank you, Myra." Myra blushed, feeling proud but humble. She wanted to help more, so she offered to fix some broken tools for Laura's team. They watched as she worked quickly, amazed by her skills. By the end of the evening, Laura and her group thanked Myra, promising to tell others about her. That night, John told Myra, "You've changed so many minds. People respect you now." Myra smiled softly. "I just want to help." With every day, Myra became stronger, braver, and happier. She was no longer just a prize or an outsider. She was now an important part of the team, and everyone knew life was better with Myra around. When the sun rose, John woke up early. He listened to the quiet sounds outside his tent and looked at Myra, who was still sleeping peacefully on the small bed he had made for her. John smiled, feeling glad that she seemed safe. After a while, Myra opened her eyes and looked around, slowly sitting up. John greeted her with a friendly smile and offered her breakfast. Myra accepted the food with a shy thank you. She ate slowly, tasting every bite carefully, and John could tell she was still not used to everything around her. Soon, the camp became busy. Soldiers moved around, talking and laughing, but many stopped to look at John and Myra. Some people whispered, others just stared. John noticed the attention and felt worried for Mira. He wanted her to feel comfortable, so he tried to show everyone that she was his friend. Not surprised, John took Myra on a walk around the base to help her get used to the place. He explained things simply, pointing out the kitchens, the medical tent, and the training grounds. Myra followed him quietly, sometimes asking questions in a soft voice. John answered with patience, happy that she was interested in learning. They walked to the main supply area, where Lucas was checking equipment. Lucas waved when he saw them. "Good morning, John." "Good morning, Myra." Myra smiled back, still shy but a little braver. Lucas spoke to her gently, asking if she slept well. Myra nodded, looking at John for reassurance. John answered for her, explaining that she was still nervous but feeling better. As they walked back to John's tent, a group of soldiers came closer. One of them, a tall man named Adam, looked at Mira with curiosity. "So this is the alien girl they gave you?" Adam asked. John nodded calmly. "Her name is Mira. She's my friend now." Adam looked surprised. "Friend? But she's—" John stopped him with a steady look. "She's not a thing, Adam." "She's a person. Treat her kindly." Adam shrugged but did not argue. Myra stood quietly, watching John with respect. After the group left, John turned to Myra and smiled. "Don't worry about what people say. You belong here as much as anyone." Later, John and Mira spent time together outside. John tried to teach Myra some human words. She repeated them slowly, laughing when she made a mistake. Her laughter was soft and sweet, and John felt proud of her bravery. As the day went on, John asked Myra if she would like to help him with his work. Myra nodded, happy to be useful. John showed her how to clean equipment, fold blankets, and organize supplies. Myra worked carefully, copying John's movements. She learned fast and made only a few mistakes. When they finished, John brought her to the medical tent to introduce her to Claire, the medic. Claire was kind, with warm eyes and a gentle smile. "Hello, Myra," Claire said. "Would you like to help me?" Myra looked at John, then nodded. Claire gave her simple tasks, like handing out bandages and organizing bottles. Mira watched carefully and tried her best. Claire praised her hard work. "You're a quick learner, Myra. I hope you stay with us for a long time." As the days passed, Myra grew more comfortable. She learned to say more words in English, and she started to greet people with a shy smile. John noticed that some soldiers began to respect Mira. They saw how hard she worked and how polite she was. She was no longer just an alien reward. She was becoming part of their team. One afternoon, John found Myra sitting by herself under a tree. She was drawing shapes in the dirt with a stick. He sat beside her and watched. "What are you drawing?" he asked. Myra looked up and smiled. "My home," she said softly. She drew a picture of a small house with strange trees around it. John listened as she talked about her planet, her family, and the things she missed. It was the first time she had shared so much about herself. John felt honored that she trusted him with her memories. John talked about his home too. He told Myra about the farm where he grew up, his favorite foods, and his little sister. Myra listened with wide eyes, asking questions about everything. John enjoyed their talks and realized that Mira made his life richer. At night, John and Mira often sat by the campfire with Lucas and Claire. They listened to stories, shared jokes, and sometimes sang songs. Myra was quiet at first, but soon she started to hum along. The firelight made her green skin glow, and her dark eyes sparkled with happiness. A few soldiers still whispered or looked at Mira strangely, but John did not let it bother him. He stood up for her whenever needed, and others followed his example. Myra was still learning, but she was already showing how brave and kind she was. One morning, a small accident happened. A heavy box fell in the supply tent, and Mira was there to help. She ran to help the soldier trapped under the box. Using a lever, she helped lift the box just enough for the soldier to crawl out. Everyone was surprised at how quick and smart she was. John praised her in front of everyone, and more people began to respect her after that dot at the end of the week. John noticed how much had changed. Mira was smiling more, speaking better, and helping everyone. She was still different from the others, but now she had a place with them. John felt proud, and he knew that he had made the right choice by showing her kindness and respect from the start. Mira was no longer just a reward. She was his friend, and maybe one day she would be seen as an equal by everyone. John Carter looked around the battlefield, breathing slowly and deeply. The fighting had finally stopped. Dust floated in the air, mixing with smoke and the strong smell of burning metal. John felt tired, but he knew the battle was won. His soldiers walked slowly, checking the area for danger and helping those who were hurt. John walked to his friend Lucas, who smiled slightly. "We did it," Lucas said softly, wiping sweat from his face. "Yes," John agreed, nodding his head, "but at a cost." He looked down, feeling sadness for the many who had fallen. Lucas put a gentle hand on John's shoulder, showing understanding without words. Soon, a messenger ran towards them, breathing hard. "Captain Carter, they want you at the main tent," the messenger said quickly. "They said it's important." John nodded and followed, wondering what was happening. The main tent stood tall, its fabric waving in the soft wind. Inside, commanders and leaders were talking. They stopped when John entered, turning their attention to him. "John Carter," Commander Evans said clearly, "you led us bravely. We won because of your courage. The enemy has given us something to honor your victory." John looked surprised. He did not expect any reward. He fought to keep others safe, not for gifts. Commander Evans motioned to someone standing behind him, and soldiers brought forward a small figure. John felt shocked. It was a small alien woman. She was barely taller than John's waist, with soft green skin and big dark eyes that stared at the ground. She seemed frightened, her thin arms shaking slightly. "They said she is yours now," Commander Evans explained carefully. "A reward for your victory." John was speechless. He didn't know what to say or do. He had never seen an alien this close, and certainly not as a reward. The alien woman slowly lifted her head, looking at John with nervous eyes. John saw fear and sadness in her face. What should I do with her?" John asked, unsure and worried. "That is your choice, Commander," Evans said simply. "But she is your responsibility now." John nodded quietly, still shocked. He moved slowly towards the small alien woman and gently said, "Come with me." She hesitated for a moment, but then slowly walked to his side, staying quiet. John led her out of the tent, feeling the curious looks from his soldiers as they passed. He took her to his own tent, away from everyone's eyes. Inside, John offered her a chair. She looked confused, not knowing what to do. John showed her by gently touching the chair, saying softly, "Sit here, please." Slowly, the alien woman sat down, watching John closely. She seemed uncertain but curious. "Are you thirsty?" John asked, showing her a bottle of water. She nodded a little, taking the water with careful hands. As she drank, John watched her, feeling strange about the whole situation. He had never thought of owning someone. It felt wrong. He decided in his heart he would protect her, not keep her like a prize. "Do you have a name?" John asked softly. She looked surprised, but nodded slowly. "Myra," she whispered, her voice gentle. And soft. John smiled kindly, feeling a bit more comfortable. "Myra, my name is John. You don't need to be afraid. No one will hurt you here." Myra looked at him closely, her dark eyes showing trust slowly building. She nodded again, this time with less fear. That night, John made a comfortable place for Myra to sleep. He laid blankets on a small bed and made sure she felt safe. As he watched her drift to sleep, he felt a deep sense of responsibility. He had never expected this, but he would do his best to make sure Myra felt respected and safe. In the morning, John showed Myra around the camp. He introduced her to Lucas, who greeted her warmly. "Welcome, Mira," Lucas said with a gentle smile. "John is a good man. You're safe with him." Myra looked at Lucas carefully, sensing his honesty. She smiled a small, shy smile. John felt happy. Seeing her smile, knowing it meant she was slowly becoming comfortable. Throughout the day, Myra quietly observed everything around her. She seemed curious about human life, watching carefully and learning quickly. John was impressed by how smart she seemed in the evening. John showed Myra how to eat human food. She tasted everything carefully, surprised but pleased by new flavors. John watched her closely, making sure she liked everything. He felt proud that she seemed to trust him more. When they were alone, Myra finally spoke again. "Why ... are you kind to me?" John was quiet for a moment, thinking carefully. "Because it's right," he said softly. "Everyone deserves kindness and respect, Myra. You're not a prize to me. You're a person like me." Myra stared at him, eyes wide with surprise. Slowly, her eyes softened, showing deep appreciation. "Thank you, John," she whispered softly. John nodded gently, feeling peaceful. He knew their journey would not be easy, but he also knew that being kind and respectful was always the right path. As the night settled around them, John promised himself silently that Myra would never again feel afraid or alone. They had each other now, and that was enough.